Hello everyone, balik lagi sama gue Kristo Akbar di channel Kristo Akbar. Dan sekarang kita main bareng lagi di game Vampire. Waduh, game Vampir. Kita balik lagi game Vampir nih, game Vampir Bareng Tampan ya guys ya. Pada episode kali ini Vampir kita ini adalah orang baik guys. Kenapa sih jadi orang baik? Kita lihat karena di sini kita bisa diberikan pilihan bisa menjadi vampir yang jahat atau vampir yang baik. Kita melanjutkan dari episode pertama ya guys. Episode pertama itu kemarin tuh sampai ke hospital guys. Nah ini continue, take me to hospital. Oke, buat teman-teman yang baru join jangan lupa buat like, comment, subscribe dan juga di share supaya nggak ketinggalan ketika gue lagi live streaming. Gue live streaming setiap siang, kalau ada waktu pagi, kalau bisa juga, dan lebih seringnya malam guys. Jadi kalau kalian ada waktu buat nonton, tontonlah live streaming gue karena dia yakin bikin kalian seger. Waduh, gimana tuh seger tuh? Oke, ntar gue setting dulu guys ya. Oke, buat yang mau support bisa langsung scan aja nih yang ada di atas nih. Scan yang ada di atas gue nih ya. Langsung scan aja, dia buka di situ, ikutin petunjuknya. Itu buat support gue. Thank you banget yang udah mau support. Dan terima kasih juga walaupun kalian udah nonton. Dan juga jangan lupa nih buat chat-chat, buat rame-ramein chat room gue. Yoi. Oke, sebentar ya guys ya. Oke, kita melanjutkan perjalanan Bareng Tampan. Waduh, ini bukan ini ya. Bukan Bang siapa namanya tuh? Penyanyi Maroon 5 bukan ya, beda. Walaupun mirip, tapi jenggotnya lebih tebal. Siapa namanya? Edward Levin. Adam Levin. Enter the Pembroke Hospital.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. Mr. Hampton needs me right now.
Oke, arti kita nggak bisa di sini guys. Kita harus belakang guys. Wah, ada orang berantem. Waduh, ditusuk guys. Guys, apa ini merah-merah ini?
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains life. Drink at this river, try it all.
Waduh, kenapa nih guys?
Oh, come on, you bastard! I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Oh, I'll be more polite.
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
Alright, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes.
Wah, kita harus menolong orang ini guys. Karena kita sudah berjanji menjadi vampir yang baik.
I am a doctor, Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Nih, kita dokter guys, jangan lupa.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Blood quality indicates how much XP you obtain from a particular citizen. The higher blood quality, the more experience you get. You need to misprice them from the others. Oke, apa nih? Wah, ini hipnotis. Sahayu,
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
Mau dibawa kemana dia? Embrace, dipeluk. Or release. Embracing will provide massive XP boost, but be beware that there will be consequences. Learning more about citizens and collecting their hits will increase the experience gain. Embrace, peluk. Gua tahu nih ini pasti dibunuh. Artinya kita bisa beri pilihan untuk merilis guys. Kita rilis aja guys.
No more. Not tonight. Not like this. I will not take another life.
Ya, tenang. Kita tidak akan membunuh.
Whoa, I feel giddy.
Kita adalah dokter bersertifikat. Asik.
It is wise for the huntsman to sometimes let his prey go, but no famished hunter can run for long.
Tenang, itu godaan setan guys, itu godaan setan. Godaan setan seperti itu jangan dihiraukan guys, hiraukan saja, tinggalkan saja. Enggak, tenang saja, jagoan kita ini kuat mentalnya guys. Oke, kita sudah sampai ke rumah sakit ya guys ya. Coba kita jalan-jalan sana dulu. Tapi kayaknya belum bisa nih, jadi kita ikutin cerita dulu aja ya. Oke, ini ada mbak-mbak nurse.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff
dia udah di
members,
atas
no matter
aja.
how illustrious they may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
Kita
I would like to
ngobrol-ngobrol
ask a
dulu.
few questions first.
How is Mr.
And
Hampton?
Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
He knows me more than I know him.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most
Okay, where is
If
my
you
room?
could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Oke, kita ke lantai 2 guys. Wah, ini udah sampai ke rumah sakit ya. Rumah sakitnya sangat mencekam nampaknya. Tapi untuk ukuran lagu-lagu dari game yang terkesan agak horor sedikit, agak seru ya lagunya. Gue suka lagu ini. Ntar kita coba gedein dikit deh volumenya. Karena gue suka sama musiknya guys. Jadi ketika nonton juga enak. Tuh, kalian bisa denger suara-suara lagu-lagu zaman barok ya. Oh, ada orang sakit guys.
If only I were young again.
Dr. Tippett.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these
Ini Dr.
terrible
Reednya ini
times.
bukan
Do we know each other?
Richard Reed ya, beda ya.
Actually, yes. We met once before at the Rockefeller University.
Kalau Richard
in
Reed
New
itu
York.
Fantastic Four
Dr.
jatuhnya.
Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
What is this in here?
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
Do you need any medical assistance yourself, Doctor?
Come on, don't be ridiculous, dear colleague.
Oh, ini buat makan nih. Enggak. Kita tidak membutuhkan makan darah.
What can you tell me about
Some are really good, and others are...
What the management?
any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Tell me more.
Nurse,
You really...
I'll go...
What is the...
This hospital...
It's more...
Don't be...
Oke, belum ada yang kebuka guys.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Kita sambil jalan-jalan bro. Wah ini ada orang nih, Gwyneth. Oke, sambil ngobrol-ngobrol guys. Kita harus mengenal orang-orang di
Good
sekitar
evening,
kita.
nurse. I'm
Tak
Dr.
kenal
Jonathan
maka
Reed,
tak
new
sayang.
surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You
Blub,
must
blub.
know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
Bentar bro. Ternyata drop FPS-nya. Setting dulu sebentar. Bitrate kelebihan, brother. Mana sih kok bitrate tuh? Nah, play. Alright. Kembali lagi.
An invisible enemy. Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett. He should be a standard for us all here.
Cie,
If only he were younger.
saling inian
Why
dia
should his age be a problem?
memuji.
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the
Wih.
limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
I'm not familiar with all this.
Brilliant
Most of
It would...
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end...
Oke, nggak ada informasi apa-apa guys.
Goodbye, nurse.
Oke. Oh, sini banyak guys. Banyak
Dr. Swansea is
karakter-karakter.
right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research. Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Thomas Elwood. Wih, mukanya kasihan guys. Kebakar dia. Nah ini nih.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect.
It's
Told
like
you.
flames.
It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Who is treating you?
It's nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about.
You don't seem worried.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easy.
Kasihan guys, mukanya guys, rusak guys.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
Mukanya
No
kebakar.
offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Disgust on every street corner.
Ini Southampton.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to
Biar
my
nggak bosen
flock.
kameranya gue yang jalanin.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behaviour. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
What is the general situation in the East End, Docs?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers Trade Union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
Literally
You're
empty.
in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton?
What do you do for
I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Oke. Ada cewek nih.
The daily routine.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me,
Shit, galak amat.
mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Waduh. I'm vampir.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Describe how you
Please,
feel.
describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional.
Di sini tuh
They
banyak
believe
ilmu-ilmu
they're
kedokteran ya guys ya.
beautiful, that
Mantap
they're
nih.
dead, a ghost or a ghoul.
Nambah-nambah
Or in
ilmu
your
guys.
case, a
Lumayan.
vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think
Mempercayai
it is
dirinya
I who am
adalah
delusional.
seorang vampir.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. to hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a
Cuman dia
spirit,
doang vampir
fog,
ngaku
or
anjir.
bat.
Your enemies.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry.
Depan tuh vampir
These people
beneran,
will
Bu.
not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal, but do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Wrong target. Apa nih? Investigation is available. Oke, dapat ini ya nih. Apa sih namanya? Set quest. Display here. Oke, start this quest by tracking it. Alright. Oke, artinya ada yang spicy Thelma nih.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
Oh, such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark,
Asik,
to your
Mistress of the Dark.
nocturnal activities.
I wish I could be sick again. Feel my blood boil with fever. The pain.
Ini kita kenalan dulu guys. Ini ada siapa? Dokter nih. Di sana udah. Itu siapa tuh? Ini kayaknya belum. Ini udah. Oh, ini masih dikunci guys, belum bisa. Oke, kita coba jalan ke samping nih, ke pintu is.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you.
Ini
And you
berasa
are...
lagi nonton drama seri ya.
Dr.
Panjang
Thoreau
banget
Strickland.
ngobrol mulu
I'm
kerjaannya.
a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Tell me
Please,
about
could you
yourself.
tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your
Kayak lagi
work have
interogasi ya.
inspired me.
Apa tujuan
I am
kamu
honored to have
menjadi
the opportunity
dokter?
to work by your
Apa
side.
rencana kamu 5 tahun ke depan?
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
Tell me
I
about
based
your
my
experience.
technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theory. At first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But
Marah-marah.
if you went personally to his shop,
I see. Well, give me...
Isi ingredient.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Harvey Fiddick.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior, a man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Masih banyak yang bisa diajak ngobrol, guys. Capek juga. Siapa nih?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed, yes, I've been informed about your arrival.
Does my arrival inconvenience...
Let us just say that I don't particularly share
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd...
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital.
I know we've never met before.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital instead of a burden.
Oh, anjay.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me.
Carelessness?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Tell me, Waverley, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
I really hope you're right about this, Dr. Ackroyd. I'm trusting your judgment on this.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from his responsibilities, Dr. Reed. There is no need for you to be looking over my shoulder.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland...
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already...
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but you're...
And what exactly is that?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing...
It seems you have bad memory.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific
We can at least agree on something.
Orang benci banget.
Thank you for your
si
time.
Vampir ganteng kita ini.
Don't waste your time with me.
What can I do for you, Doc?
Thank you.
Reads me like a book.
Ah, ini dia nih, si Pidik.
I'll never.
Tadi
Good
dia ngomong
evening,
si Pidik.
I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleague...
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about your...
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed.
I was more curious about what you were doing...
I'm a carpenter. And a good one, too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Doc.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well,
carpenter.
It's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed?
Game-game kayak gini nih bikin
I have a
ngantuk nih
feeling
guys,
you're very
guys.
capable. And your colleagues seem to think so
Ayo
too.
guys yang baru
In other
join jangan lupa buat
circumstances, you would be right.
di sini nggak ada
But
tap
for
ya.
now, I don't
Di
think I
like
can
video
take
gue di
on
like sambil
responsibility.
di chat ngobrol-ngobrol lah. Duh ngantuk banget guys.
Tell me about the doctors who are
Lihat nih gue udah sampai turun banget badan gue.
Strickland and Ackroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there.
Udah mana chatnya juga
Doctors are no
sepi,
different
gak
from
ada yang chat ya kan?
carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick, unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself, but I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
Goodbye for now, Mr.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Okay. Itu masih ada tuh. Anjir baik banget yang masih diajak kenalan, bre. Nah,
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No.
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here.
Yes.
Could you at least tell me your...
Mortimer.
How painful is...
So painful I'd rather not talk at all.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient...
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of...
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
How painful...
So painful I'd rather...
I'll let you get...
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
Ganggu lagi.
Okay.
Tell me about you.
I don't want to talk.
Nggak mau ngobrol
I
dia.
have to go.
Sakit lehernya.
Don't
Oke.
waste your time with me.
Anima.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What can you tell me about your son?
Not much to say. Just take care.
Oh.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I'm...
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace.
May I ask if you have an
I'm a teacher by profession.
Oh, seorang
I
guru
teach
dia.
young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
What do you think of your reception here?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital.
Is there something in particular that's...
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
Wah, pipa Hawkins.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Kosong guys, nggak bisa digali lagi.
Goodbye.
Nah ini pipa Hawkins tuh. Ini udah di dalam. Itu udah. Mas. Ntar gue ngobrol sama lu. Si pipa. Terima. Itu nggak bisa ditutup. Binet. Nah ini nih, gue ngobrol sama ini di depan guys. Tukang pos.
Good evening, sir.
Oh bukan.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton.
That's quite a blunt
driver
introduction,
dia.
Mr. Hooks.
You can
Ambulance
call me Milton.
driver.
I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed.
Let's trip.
How is the situation?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful.
Are you really smuggling weapons through?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my...
But you're not defending yourself.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor.
Okay.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital?
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I'll bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done.
Since you're on the front line...
It's a complete disaster.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently.
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was...
You left an infected patient outside the hospital?
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body...
Midnight in the garden.
I'd like to see...
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Oh, dapat senjata baru nih. Shotgun. Duitnya cuma 36, harganya 315, mahal amat. Apa nih? Handle. Oh, ini buat melee weapon. Belum punya duit, guys. Ntar aja, guys. Aku pengen ngobrol sama si mbak-mbak yang tadi tuh. Si SWC. Pipa. Mbak Pipa.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
Your life in London.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
You must get a hold of it.
Sorry, I'm exhausted.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu
Ini lagi
won't last
zaman-zamannya
forever.
corona nih, zaman
Even
dulu,
the
guys.
Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end?
Jadi ini zaman-zaman Covid lah ya, Covid tapi zaman dulu ceritanya.
How is the Pembroke staff coping?
Not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more
Why is Milton?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation.
Why does Milton dislike?
I don't know. Just ask him.
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning.
You'd be surprised what dedication can have.
Sorry, Doctor.
Ya. Belum ada yang bisa digali, guys.
Goodbye.
Oke, itu udah. Coba kita lihat map. Ah, ini dia orang target nih. Aduh, mapnya gede banget, bro. Whitechapel. Baiklah, kita nyamperin si abang-abang ini dulu nih. Keluar ya. Tertipets Clay Cox yang tadi. Kita cari penguntit yang tadi, guys. Nah, itu tuh ada orang di atas tuh. Bisa masuk ya. Kan ada orang kan. Riwen Rocky. Oh, tidur belakang, guys. Hati-hati. Ah, salah. Oh, level 7 dan level 6, guys. Gak ngaruh, bro. Aduh, salah. Hap. Nih, aduh. Makan. Aduh, salah pencet. Ini nih. Oh, ini dia nih. Vampire Activity Hospital Survey Investigate. A female vampire hiding in the Pembroke Hospital. First name Terima. Oh. Kita kita sudah mendapatkan petunjuk guys bahwa si Thelma memang dicurigai menjadi sebagai seorang vampir. Menjadi sih. Bosnya guys. Aduh. What warning survival sound dead at 9. Suara apaan tuh? Waduh. Waduh. Level 18. Artinya belum bisa kalau kayak begitu. Nah, kita level 3. Level 12.
Ain't safe here for a gent.
Aduh. Aduh. Yah, mati boy. Langsung meninggal anjir. Oke. Tenang. Ternyata belum kuat jagoan kita guys. Waduh. Wih, nyawanya penuh lagi. Oke, nanti saja kalau begitu. Ntar lu, tadi tuh ada kelanjutannya. Treatment for fatigue. Ini udah kenal semua nih, tinggal 3 orang lagi nih. Southampton, Whitechapel. Ini siapa yang dari Crane? Oke. Mari kita coba ke misi-misi yang kecil-kecil dulu guys. Yang deket-deket, kalau udah pindah-pindah distrik bahaya nih. Bagi tadi ya kali vampir meninggal. Oke. Kita lihat map. Ya, oke.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to
Suara-suara
find
tidak baik.
somebody.
Suara-suara tidak baik, guys. Suara-suara teriakan auman-auman. Apa ini? Wah. Hop. Lagi. Nah, sedot darahnya. Duh, gak kena ya. Wih. Waduh. Oh, udah. Aduh, dari gue sekarat anjir. Waduh. Jalannya ke sana, bre. Oke, kita pakai skill peledak. Nah, ini nih. Ceter lagi. Kuat dia tembak. Wah. Nah, sedot dulu darahnya brother. Isi darah lagi kita. Yo, oh, ini stamina harus dinaikin lagi nih supaya gampang ngindar-ngindarnya. Apa nih? Fotografi Milton and Pipa. The couple. Oh, mereka pasangan, bray.
So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an
item.
Those two have hidden their affections well.
Oke, ternyata mereka sepasang kekasih, saudara-saudara. Anjir, apa? Namanya julid banget ya kan? Namanya ini vampir julid, guys. Gue ganti apa judul ini? Vampir julid. Ini kemana ya? Oh, dalam hospital kita. Find your office, bring back the world to its owner. Oke. Oh, lihat belakang kaget. Sudah kaget saja. Ownernya siapa?
My blood and soul.
Ini siapa nih? Ini Pipa.
The life running in your came here in the fur. This dead flesh.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Bukan.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Oh, si abang-abang nih, Milton Hooks. Halo, Bang Milton.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor.
I have some good news, Milton.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet with all the money and a certain picture.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what?
Anjay.
Is it the difference of skin colour that bothers you?
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Please, take this money anyway. To remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody is as broad-minded as you, Dr. Reed.
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them.
Fuck
Nobody
them.
knows the horrors I've
What
seen
the
since
hell?
working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reed.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Oh, kerja tidak terlalu profesional, guys.
We lack
Ditegur nih sama vampir ganteng
So
kita.
excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
What's going on between you and Nurse Hawkins?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all those corpses piling up. She's as depressed as I am.
During the war, I witnessed a few couples just like you come together in difficult circumstances. It can be very damaging.
Maybe you're right. But we support each other. And that's all that matters.
You do realize you could both get fired. Hospital staff are not meant to have intimate relationships with one another.
Come on, Dr. Reed. Do you know how many rules are broken?
Goodbye, Milton.
Investigation succeeded. Satu lagi, guys. Yang mana sih tadi tuh? Nah, ini. Reach the pharmacy. Mudah-mudahan levelnya nggak tinggi-tinggi amat nih. Kalau masuk yang level serius sudahlah, selesai sudah.
It's locked.
Ya, nggak bisa. Oh iya, mesti tidur dulu ini mah. Atas juga nggak mungkin gue muter lewat sini ya. Cepel. Belum bisa, guys. Baiklah. Karena belum bisa, kita melanjutkan story dulu. Find your office, the second floor. Sambil jalan-jalan dulu, ada apa di sekitar sini? Nampaknya menarik dengan detail yang cukup mendetail. Wah, dapat hack show. Oke, kita cari-cari item lumayan nih guys. Lah, Angnon. Di mana dia? Sebelah sana ya. Oke, deh, abis ini kita ngobrol lagi deh.
It's locked.
It's locked.
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes.
Oh, ini dia nih.
Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Dracula dong. Kalau tidurnya di dalam coffin. Bisa upgrade kita. Tahan. Ada apa di bawah? Anjing, sampai mangap gini gue main. Ada apa sih, penasaran. Lah, mana mereka? Anjir, emang nih vampir kepo anjir. Diajarin kepo, bener-bener.
It's locked, all right.
Ayo, kalian ngapain? Hah?
Good evening, Doctor.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
What a blundering idiot.
Tadi satu lagi dokternya mana ya? Ah, itu dia. Kita belum kenal sama dokter yang itu, guys. Aduh, repot amat keluarnya. Halo, Pak. Dirian aja deh.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Always a pleasure to meet a colleague,
Rakesh.
sir. Especially when he was
Especially when he was supposedly dead.
Are you a doctor too? Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana. Pawnbroker and humble guardian of...
What do you mean? You used to be a...
No, sir. It is just...
Oh, Kang jualan ternyata.
Are you afraid?
Why should I?
How did you get this?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker.
An interest,
sir.
Do you work here?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few...
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
Have we met?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
Udah mati.
A pawnbroker?
Yes, sir. All kind of people.
Who comes here to trade with you?
I'm very cautious, sir.
What kind of?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short,
Dia
and the
percaya dengan
obstacles
adanya ini
are
bro.
endless.
Do you think you would
lagi
enjoy
reinkarnasi.
immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or
quite depressing.
Yes, but the good news is...
So you're...
No, I am not. I don't fear death.
You're a wise man.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man.
Foolish man.
But I like to think otherwise.
Please show me what.
Of course.
Jualan beginian dia. Anjir, opium dijual. Kodein 15. Ya, coba kita beli satu. Oke. Kita kembali ke cerita.
My sweet girl.
Itu gue penasaran di lantai 3 ada apaan ya? Gak bisa. Dikunci Swansea. Nah, ini.
Not now.
Ini ruangan kita. Ada notes nih. Bla 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 bla. Ya. Article on icons. Aduh, panjang banget, males ceritanya guys.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
It needs water. Udah kasih air dong, bisa nggak? Aluminium powder. Oke, kita cek darah dulu guys. Apa nih? Lagi dressing siram.
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching.
The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night.
Oke.
I have so much time.
Saatnya kita tidur. Vampir tuh seperti seorang satpam ya guys ya. Jaganya jaga malam, night watch. Seorang night watch dia nih. Naikin apa ya? Gigitan keras. Anjay. Ini kayak kita mesti naikin body nih bro. Stamina nih ya, stamina ini yang penting nih. Buat ngindar-ngindar. Oh, panjang banget. Oke. Oke, stamina sudah naik. Fast regeneration. Sama nih, body health juga masih dinaikin guys. Ini utama-utama ini. Absorptionnya dulu ya kita naikin. Oh, ada tactical, defensive. Berapaan nih harganya? 600. Wah, ada bulat birir. Masih level 6. Level 1 500. Aduh. Shadow Veil. Oh, bisa menghilang guys. Spring. Oke. Mungkin apa ya? Satu lagi apa ya kira-kira ya? Heart beating. Kayaknya sih stamina sih. Stamina tuh utama bro, soalnya bro berantem sih pakai stamina. Waduh. Confirm. Malam selanjutnya.
If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
Oke, misi kita.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Misi kita adalah membantu.
Yes, Nurse Crane?
Dia
How can I help you?
Dari tadi gue nyari-nyari dia tadi.
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another...
What type of hospital are you?
You have been away too long, Doctor. With the war...
I may have a solution. In France.
However do you...
If combined correctly.
The storeroom? Fat chance.
Perhaps I should look there first.
It's the large building behind the hospital.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door.
Okay, night shift. Enter the old morgue. Guys. Kemana kita nih? Ke bawah. Salah jalan. Oh, sini. Makan sambil makan kue dulu guys. Lapar.
It's locked.
Kunci. Oh ini ring. Mulai nuansa mencekam. Wah. Ya, keluar lagi gua salah. Balik. Mana sih? Oh sini bre. Pakai loading segala sih, tinggal masuk aja.
I cannot enter.
Duh, gelap bener. Kagak ada apa-apa. Tadi ini pintu awal masuk. Find some quinine, sodium, bla bla bla. Oke, kayaknya di atas ini. Apa itu? Ayo, nih. Aduh, kena lagi. Anjay, kuat sekali dia. Oh, udah stamina-nya habis. Tidak. Nih. Wah, digigit, bray. Nih, kita makan. Wah. Vampir gigit vampir.
Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza.
Oh, jadi di vampir ini ada tipe-tipenya, guys. Ada yang tipe yang begitu. Oh, mati. Wah, tewas, guys. Tara nih.
This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
Oh, bisa masuk ke basement kita. Bisa dibuka.
It's locked.
It's locked. Gak ada duit. Recehan. Susah ke atas nih ternyata. Tinggi juga gedungnya 3 lantai. Kuat sama serangan-serangan begini. Langsung tanpa ampun. Gini doang. Oke, kita turun ke basement. Wah. Kalian lihat nggak guys? Apa itu? Oh, nggak bener nih. Waduh, banyak. Ajar dulu lah.
These skulls feed on corpses and the husks of aliens. They're not after blood.
Aduh, kena lagi, anjir. Gelap. Kuinin. Wah.
It's locked, all right. Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd bet.
Apa nih, offhand?
To look into this.
Oh, ada blood absorption. Oh, ini damage lebih mantap nih. Ultimate anjir. Oke, lanjut. Masuk lagi. Makan ya. Mati kamu. Oke, buat tujuan kita guys. Wah, raja. Anjir, namanya Jondo anjir. Sini lu. Aduh, sakit nih. Gila, mati abis ini gua. Aduh. Bangke hilang-hilang ya. Baiklah. Bikin hilang arah gitu jadinya. Ngulang lagi dari sini. Habis. Mana hilang? Pistol saja. Nih. Salah. Ini nggak ngulang lagi ya.
Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Some sort of drug overdose, perhaps? Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. The chest was originally open to perform the operation. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. And then he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked.
Wah, dokter Tippett nih bener-bener nih. Tawan bos lagi, nggak bisa di save apa ya? Baiklah. Hilang, nyerang depan belakang, Bray. Indo.
Can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Craft the treatment for fatigue. Nggak ada item yang bisa diambil ya. Terus ini bisa ke atas buat apa anjir? Nggak ada clue atau apa gitu. Hai. Ada apa-apa? Oh ini ngobrol dong, anjay. Oke, sudah jadi. Sodium hypochlorite solution. Bring the medicine to the crate. Isi darah juga kecil amat. Wah. Ini nggak kena. Lambat banget gerakan si aguannya anjir. Musuhnya tuh ininya panjang anjir. Gelap banget. Udah kelar kan? Tadi gue dapet item tapi gak bisa buat apa-apa, cuma anjir. Tadi gak ada ini. Apa karena gue gak lewat? Kelip di sini. Oh, hanya perasaanku saja nampaknya. Sebentar. coba konfrontasi si dokter pipet yang dicoba sama orang tadi tuh. Mana si dokter?
Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No. We must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more unto the breach.
Nurse Brannigan is worried about you, Doctor.
She should not have told you that. I will have a word with her.
You don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the only one I may listen to.
Corcoran, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
Who was this patient?
I don't know. Some sick man from the docks, maybe a fisherman. I had no time to talk with him. No one claimed a body.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
What was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error. My diagnosis was wrong, and the administered dosage was too strong.
Goodbye, Dr. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening.
Pepper, I know you're very close to Milton Hooks.
Yes? Milton Hooks.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse Hawkins, but are you aware of the risks?
The rules say I won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke, we break rules all the time.
Is he worth the risk?
Hey, I'm no perfect...
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Help me!
Finally, you've returned, Doctor.
Yes, Nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor.
Duty calls? When the...
Many thanks, Doctor.
Disease decrease the blood quality of citizen. Okay.
What a blundering idiot.
Good evening, Mr. Goswell.
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. don't mean to be a burden.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
How painful.
It's so painful I'd rather not talk.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to come.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Temptation bener-bener tadi itu keluar terus notifikasinya gitu. Padahal udah jelas-jelas bahwa di sini gue bakal jadi vampir baik, tidak membunuh siapa-siapa, hanya membunuh orang-orang jahat. Kalau ini orang-orang baik.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
It may seem strange, but your words have brought me some comfort here.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
I'm not some doe-eyed student, Edgar. I understand we both have something to gain from this relationship.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not.
Accepted. I'll see what...
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Following night, oke. Buat semuanya, gue harus mengakhiri live pada sore hari ini. Luar biasa, mantap. Kita sudah bermain vampir menjadi orang baik. Kita menahan nafsu makan kita, nafsu meminum darah dari karakter penting-penting yang ada di dalam game, guys. Jangan sampai kegoda, walaupun tadi tuh hintsnya tuh keluar terus, disuruh minum darah supaya menjadi makin kuat. Waduh. Masalahnya kalau tadi kita minum darah, itu orang mati selamanya, guys. Sudah pasti tuh, nggak akan bisa hidup lagi. Dan sedangkan tadi kita masih butuh banyak dialog dan ada kepentingan di dalam sebuah instrumen keterkaitan dengan tempatnya itu sendiri, guys. Ya kan, kita lihat ada level sanitize, healthy, ya kan. Nah dari situ kita harus naikin level supaya dunia itu semakin tentram gitu. Kita bikin damai, kita menjadi vampir yang baik. Dia. Oke, kalau kayak gitu, terima kasih buat teman-teman yang udah nontonin sampai detik ini, dan jangan lupa buat like, comment, subscribe yang baru join, dan share juga supaya nggak ketinggalan ketika gue lagi live. Gue bakal siap live-nya itu selalu live itu siang atau sore dan juga malam, sama kalau bisa ada waktu gue bakal pagi bisa ngelakuin live juga. Jadi dan teman-teman juga bisa ngelakuin request juga, bisa langsung aja di chat kalau lagi gue live, langsung aja chat, bang gue mau lo main ini AIWO lo langsung aja ngomong di situ. Atau lo bisa follow Instagram gue di @kristo_akbar. Di situ lo langsung aja DM, bang gue main game ini, bang gue mau lo main game ini ya. Lo kasih tahu aja, nanti gue wujudin mimpi lo, bro. Gue wujudin gaming window lo, Jadi supaya kita tahu nih, bisa cerita-cerita tentang game yang kita mainin, mau ngebahas tentang apaan aja bebas. Yang penting lu ramein dah tuh chat gua tuh. Ya, jangan sepi kayak gini, ngantuk guys. Apalagi game kayak begini, ngobrol mulu. Ketika lawan musuh, sekali lawan musuh nih susah, sulit gitu. Tadi berapa kali gue mati tuh, 3 kali atau 4 kali tuh dia mati tuh. Agak sulit juga guys, walaupun levelnya tadi sebenarnya gue nggak main hard, di sini mainnya normal, sulit juga ya. Oke lah, kalau gitu gue Kristo Akbar undur diri. Sampai ketemu di live main bareng Kristo selanjutnya. Bye bye.